Hey everyone, this is comedian Sarah Tiana, and you're listening to Jim on Bass.
Hey, it's Ryan from the Jim on Base Show, and I want to give a huge shout out to my friends at Goat Fuel. They sent me some great swag and also sent a couple of cans. The first one being the tropical berry can with the great Jerry Rice on it, as well as the Babe Ruth can, the blueberry lemonade. So if you want to drink like a goat, go to goatfuel.com and see where you can pick up some cans nearest you. And they also make great collector's items. So goatfuel.com. Check them out. Welcome back to another episode of the Jim on Base Show. For today's very special guest, we have on a comedian and writer from the great state of Georgia. She's also a huge sports fan and is one of the hosts of the Women's Sports Now show on Roku. She also was a part of the Tom Brady Roast, the MLB's Traveling Spaceship Show, and was a regular on Lights Out with David Spade. Please welcome the great Sarah Tiana. Sarah, thanks for coming on.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and you just got back. Are you at home now? Did you get back from the Fanatics Fest, or?
Yeah, I'm back in Los Angeles. Yeah, we were at Fanatics Fest all weekend. My guy, he's the sidekick on the Rich Eisen show. So they were doing their Overreaction Monday podcast live from Fanatics Fest. And, well, I guess they did a live show there and then it comes out. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So me and my son joined him for this trip, and it's pretty crazy. It's like the amount of people and athletes that were coming through, just walking in the back. It was just like, oh, like you get like we're getting out of our vehicle because they bring you into the loading dock. There's just like tons and tons of like Escalades and Yukons down there, right? And then you open up the car and like everybody that's working there is like, who's that? Who's that? We're like, oh, they're like, oh, it's just nobody knows who that is. And then the next one will be like Travis Scott, or the next one is Jaden Daniels, and it's just like, what? It's wild.
Anyone who's anyone seemed to be there. I saw Ray Lewis, Derek Jeter, Kevin Durant found out he was traded there, right? So that was kind of cool.
He found out on stage. So my son plays in Little League here, and one of the coaches, like one of the dad coaches on his Little League team, also works for Fanatics. So he was like, oh, maybe I'll see you guys there. We're like, great. Then we just happened to be at the baseball section. We practically live at the baseball section. I don't even know why I'm like, we just happened to stumble over there, as if it wasn't the very first thing we walked to. So anyway, my son is obsessed. So we had just done the batting cage, and then we walked over to the pitching where like you saw Joe Burrow like throw a ball, bat or whatever. Well, we were over there, and CJ Stroud and Bryce Young were both in the pitching machine, and our friends and the dad was like their escort. He was the like taking them around. So then he comes over and he's like, CJ, this is to CJ Stroud. He's like, this is the best 5-year-old baseball player I've ever seen. And then CJ's like, oh yeah, show me your stance. And without hesitation, my son just like gets down in this like stance. And I cannot believe I got a picture of it. I just happened to snap a picture of it right when it happened. I'm like, I'm going to treasure that forever. I really wanted my son to say go Dogs to Bryce Young since he went to Alabama, but I was like, I didn't tell him fast enough, and I didn't think of it fast enough. So that'll be one of my greatest regrets in life.
That's pretty amazing. Is that kind of like the Comic Con, but for sports sort of now, or?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, it was just, my husband talked about it last year because they went last year and did it. And I was like, oh yeah, that seems cool. Like, let's go. And then we went, and I've just never seen anything like it, where there's literally just professional athletes walking around all day long, like every hour somebody new. Then there's just like booths at the bottom. So like when we came in, we entered, then there's this green room. There's this Starbucks green room set up in the back. So you can go get coffee. There's food everywhere. There's merch that you can just go pick out your sizes of merch, and then they put them in a bag for you. And we're like, okay. And then, they're like, all right, this is the way out to the floor. So as you walk to the floor, there's just like rooms full of helmets, baseballs, jerseys, like they're just everywhere. And you're like, can I just take one? No, I can't take one of those. I can't just grab a Bengals helmet, but like, why would anyone want that anyway? And then And so they were like just walking. They were like, "Oh, there's Chris Webber." Like, and then like Chris and my Chris say hello to each other, and it's just like a whole thing. And he's
Wow.
just walking out because there's all these like long aisles, and like there'll be a guy sitting there signing autographs because you know what time they're coming to sign autographs, and their name is on this TV screen behind them. And then every day you're like, oh, okay, that's gonna be Joe Montana next, and that's gonna be it's just
Yeah.
wild, like the amount of people that you just see walking around in the back. We're coming in, Tyreek Hill's leaving, Chris Webber's going to the right, CJ Stroud's on the left. You're like,
Wow.
what? It was wild.
So
Yeah.
basically, if you're at Field of Dreams and just walk through the corn stalks, that's where it leads.
Yeah, it does. And I think Kevin Costner was there too. That's
Oh,
how
wow.
like it's like anybody that's even like close to sports was there. I mean, Michael Rubin, they know what they're doing. They really created a whole new, and I think they're gonna take it on the road. I think it'll
Mm.
not just be in New York. I think they want to do it in LA as well.
Yeah, someone's making some money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what the Fanatics evaluation is since they've, you know, brought in so many other entities, but when you work in sports, you just have friends in every
Mm.
facet of the world. So it's like I have friends at Tops, and then they were all there. I have friends that
Wow.
just work at Peacock, and mostly on their NBC shows, but the NBC is now getting basketball. So Peacock had a whole NBA setup, and they do these like experiences, and you basically become part of their mailing list, but you get to do all these fun little activities. Like Happy Gilmore too was there promoting, like the whole Netflix
Wow.
setup was Happy Gilmore too. So then you get to go through and do like the driving range and putting, and then they also had a football section. I mean, it was just wild. It
Wow.
was wild.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
like it. Well, made me wonder then, you and your son, did you guys get any good autographs or any other like surreal meet and greets or?
Man, we did not get any autographs. The Travis Scott one was, we weren't even going to go. We just happened to be walking past him, and we almost got trampled by people trying to get Travis Scott to sign their shoe. Because I'm sure their shoe would have
Mm.
gone up to like 10 grand or something. Um, it was just wild. But no, I don't think, I mean, no, he wouldn't have even, he doesn't even care about autographs. Like the Tops people gave me some cards that they just like singled out for me, but
Mm.
no, I didn't think we didn't get any autographs. We really just he just really wanted to hit the baseball and hit the golf club. So that's all
H-
we did.
How old is
And
he?
even when he meets baseball players, he's 5. Even when he meets baseball players, all he wants is for them to give him gum from the dugout. It's like
That's
we'll get to
easy.
walk on the field, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, do you want Austin Riley's autograph?" He's like, "Can you get me gum?" I was like,
Baseball's your favorite sport, right?
baseball's my favorite sport. Yeah. Yes, baseball's what I follow the most. I'm really trying to get to the All-Star game this year. I'm
Mm.
like hoping I can get there.
Yeah. Where is it this year? Is it Atlanta then or?
This year it's in Atlanta, and so I'm actually going to be doing the punchline in Atlanta on Friday and Saturday before the All-Star game, which is on Tuesday. So I'm hoping to stay Sunday and Monday just to kind of do some stuff around the
Nice.
game. We'll see.
Yeah, I see you got the Braves shirt on. I
Uh-huh.
was
Yes. Went to the MLB store in New York. Mm-hmm.
I was actually able to have Matt Olson and Austin Riley on a couple seasons ago, and they're really cool.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good. Were they on at the same time?
No, so I'm in the Bay Area, so I got credentialed to cover Giants games, and the Braves are in town, and it was surreal. I just get to sit in the dugout, and I ask guys to do a 5 minute little interview with me. So I usually get two, three, four guys before a game, and then I turn into a quick little like 15-minute episode.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, they're both so nice. They're really down to earth guys. Yeah, I don't think I've ever met Matt. Austin I've met a couple times. Matt I've never met, but he's, my your Oakland boy.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're a
Wonder.
Giants fan,
Yeah, Giants fan.
right?
So A's were always the stepchild, but I'm
Mhm.
not really into the A's. But got to interview some cool people from the A's. But I'm a diehard Giants fan. So for my dream guests I've had would be like Will Clark, if that was a bucket list check for me. Bruce Bochy.
Yeah. Bochy. Oh yeah. See if his head can fit in your studio. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
got to get all those guys. Giants are of like a special my family's from the East Bay. So I was actually born in Hayward. We moved to Georgia when I was 5. And so, most of my family's still up in the East Bay. My grandmother was an Oakland A's,
Mm.
huge Oakland A's fan, but the rest of my family are all Giants fans because they married into it. So, but most of us still love and appreciate Oakland. But I did I was at the game where Barry Bonds tied Willie Mays record
Oh yeah.
uh in Giant Stadium, and I he was
Wow.
like sitting in the outfield, right? And one of my friends from college happened to be in town as well, and he was a huge Braves fan, and we just knew each other from working for the Braves in college.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll come to your seat and say hello or whatever." And we sit down. I'm sitting with him, and he's like, "Oh, Barry's up to bat, so let's watch this at bat." And I go, "If he hits that baseball to my seat, I'm never gonna forgive you." They stood on my seat to catch the ball.
No way.
Yeah, it
Wow.
happened. He hit it right to my seat.
660, I think,
And
right?
I'm like sitting and I'm sitting next to third base, like, oh no. Oh, just like such a colossal idiot mistake. Like not even like really clocking it all. I think I was like, I was probably 21 or 22. I wasn't really like thinking clearly about it all. Anyway, but that, and then I also, when I first started going to Giants games, like after I moved to LA, I could finally afford to like go and
Mm.
watch the Braves play somewhere else. I used to always sit by the bullpen because I would keep score and I wanted to know like which pitcher was coming in. And so but when they built Pac Bell Park, originally they forgot to build the bullpen.
Hmm.
So at the time, the bullpen was on the first base line or the third base side. So I was sitting there and I'm sitting there keeping score, I'm writing something down and I hear the bat crack, right? And I look up, I'm like, oh wow, that ball looks like it's oh god. And like I like turn and my I got hit in the leg by a Freddie Freeman line drive. I
Wow.
had a bruise this big on my leg. And everyone's like, "Why weren't you watching the game?" I'm like, "I was writing down a score." Like it's
You're a
not like
nerd.
I was like turned I was there alone, just keeping score, watching the game. Like I'm not doing anything else. And then someone actually clipped it off. It's on my YouTube channel. Someone clipped the broadcast of me getting hit by the ball because the announcers were like, "Ooh, hope nobody was in front of that one. Oh no, hopefully she's okay."
Yeah.
And they quickly cut away. Yeah.
Did somebody give you the ball or no?
Yeah, they did give me the ball after
Oh,
they
nice.
realized I was hurt. I was like, and then I did Jay Moore's radio show. I think when I got back from that trip and I was telling him about it. And so he made this call out to Freddie Freeman, like, you got to throw her a ball. And then so when I went to the Dodgers game that night, he threw a ball at me in the stands. So I have one he meant to give to me and one he did not mean to give to me.
That's out full circle.
Full circle. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
Totally.
pretty crazy that you have family from the East Bay. I was going to tell you because when I was looking up info on you, I couldn't believe it. I was born in Hayward too, and my parents are from Hayward.
Wow.
Yeah, very
What?
serendipitous in a way.
Yeah, that's such a small world. I don't ever hear the word Hayward.
Yeah. Do you remember what hospital you were born at? I was born at the Kaiser.
Yeah, I was born at the Kaiser because my
Okay.
grandmother worked at Kaiser.
What are the
So
odds of
she
that?
was an ER nurse. Yeah.
Okay.
So she wasn't, I think she wasn't present when I was born, but she was working. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so that's where I had to get that out in the interview at some point.
Yeah. Both, both Kaiser baby, East Bay Kaiser baby.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
episode is brought to you by Kaiser.
Yeah.
Well, I was curious, have you ever spoken to Blake Griffin then? Because as you probably know, he's kind of sort of dabbles with the comedy scene. I got to chat with him at in Tahoe at that celebrity golf tournament up there, and
Uh-huh.
seemed like a really cool guy.
He's a great guy. I've worked with him a couple times. Like when he did I think it was the Alec Baldwin roast.
Mm,
So worked with him a little bit on that. I think I helped write his Cold as Balls segment with Kevin Hart. And then he came back and he did a little segment on our end of the year show with Kevin and Keenan on Peacock this year as well. So I've met him quite a few times. He's like friends of friends, but
Mm.
I don't know. I don't think he'd know my name or like remember me, but always had a great experience with him. He's very funny and he's quick and he's very charming.
Nice. Well, it made me wonder
Hmm.
with the Women's Sports Now show. I always see your clips too on Instagram, and you have some great people on. So it makes me wonder, do you have like a dream guest, anyone you would want to get to one day that you haven't been able to talk to yet?
Serena, for sure. Even though I worked with her on the ESPYs last year,
Mm-hmm.
so I did get to meet her, but not, like closely.
Mm-hmm.
Coco Gauff for sure would be up there.
Yeah.
I mean, Caitlin Clark, of course. Dream guest. Yeah, gosh. Nelly Corda, I guess, golfer. Love to meet her. Billie Jean King.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Um, yeah, there's just there's so many incredible. I mean, just as a Braves fan, I would love to just sit next to Mallory Pugh and like pick her brain.
Mm.
And Chelsea Freeman, I'd like to just be friends with her so I can get a little bit more intel
Yeah.
in that whole trade.
Well, I think you even gotten to speak with Ken Griffey Jr., right, on the Traveling Spaceship Show. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, he's I mean, just basically one of the greatest ever. Yeah, I mean, how do you even compete with that? My son has been wearing we went to the Major League Baseball store in New York this last weekend, and I got him like a fitted Braves
Mm.
hat, and I bought myself one. He always likes to match, and I was like, oh man, I actually don't even know where I have so many Braves hats in all these different colors, but I don't have just like the regular one.
Mm.
Like something's happened to it. I don't know. Like over the years, it's like all crusty and probably can't wear it. So I was like, oh, I'll buy myself a new one as well. And but my son has been wearing his backwards like the whole trip. He started wearing it backwards, and I'm like, he doesn't even know like the reference. He's just like
That's just how you wear
wearing
it.
his hat backwards, chewing gum constantly. And I'm like, if you only knew how iconic it is
Yeah.
to see a kid do this. Plus he's wearing his Bo Jacksons, which is like this other like yeah. He's literally my dream child and then also my devil child at the
Mm.
same time. Yeah.
Does he know that you're a comedian, or does he understand what that is yet? Or
No, he knows. I don't think he understands what it means, but yeah, because we asked him one day, I was like, what does daddy do for a living? And he said, daddy talks about football for a living with Rich. And I go, yep, that's right. Do you know what mommy does? And he says, mommy talks jokes. I go, yep, pretty much. So I think he knows. I don't think he can totally grasp it or like how it works, obviously, but he is pretty funny. I mean, he has quite the personality and he mimics a lot of things. Like we were at dinner in Little Italy over the weekend and he got pizza because he's 5 and he's eating it and he just starts going, oh my god, oh my god, oh Lord. I'm like, what is that from? And he's like, the guy on the videos who does that when the food's good. I'm like, I don't know what guy on the videos you're talking about. Then but I think it's like this guy on Reels that like watches someone make this new recipe and he's just like
mm.
overreacting to it. It's just like the things they pick up
Yeah.
are insane. Like he asked, we went to a Yankees game and he goes, what about the Mets? And I go, oh yeah, the Mets do play in New York, but they're actually playing in Atlanta while we're in New York. So they're playing the Braves. And he goes, oh, Ronald Acuna Jr. will get to see his brother. And I go,
Wow.
what? How do you remember that? Like,
That's pretty. You
yes,
got a
of
little
course, yes.
genius.
I know. Like, it's just crazy the way that the things that they remember.
Yeah.
It's what they want to remember. He's still a typical man. He doesn't remember like math or like to put his clothes in his hamper, but like he will remember that Louis Angel Acuna plays on the Mets and his brother plays on the Braves. It's just so wild.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sports, I know you're a part of the Tom Brady roast, and your husband's a Patriots fan, right? So did that kind of split the house a little
Hmm.
bit, or did he tell you to take it easy on him, or?
It definitely split the house more at the Super Bowl than it
Mm.
did at the roast. He was just more jealous that I was writing on that.
Mm.
And another Falcons fan was also writing on that. This guy, Jerron Horton, who's a fantastic writer and huge Falcons fan, just like me. So we were like, we're just gonna give it to Tom. I'm not holding back. And then you meet Tom, and you're like, actually, he's pretty great.
Yeah, how does that work? Do you meet him beforehand, or is it just after or at the event?
You meet him beforehand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were I was writing on it for 5 weeks. So yeah, we had a bunch of Zoom calls with him
Mm.
just going over material and and booking, people who we wanted to book, like other guests on the show, blah blah blah. And then you kind of get an idea of like things he wants to talk about, and you just start formulating a script based on that. And then he comes in, I guess he came in person like a week before, and then we were kind of working on it every day for a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was neat
Very
because
good.
I come down to LA a lot to go to like the Comedy Store or the Improv to see comedians work on material, as you know. And I got to see Jeff Ross one night, and then the next night I saw Nikki Glazer working on jokes for the roast. So it was kind of cool to see that and then watch the roast and then see, oh yeah, I remember seeing that happen at the Improv or whatnot. So it's cool how that
Yep.
works.
Yeah, it is. It's quite the process. And like when Jeff will like sometimes I'll go with him when he's practicing or sometimes he'll just send me the audio file after and
Mm,
then I'll listen to it through and like we'll cut or we'll move things around or just take out a word here and there, like comedy, so much about comedy is just editing,
mm,
getting to the meat, getting to the heart, like making speeding it up, slowing it down, it's all pacing. So you really have to find those beats.
yeah. And it's all about the shoes too, right? I had Brad Williams on. He said you had the best shoes in comedy.
He did say that. That was the first time I had seen anything like that. And I was like, wow, I can't believe he thinks that I do. Like that's so nice. And yeah, I guess there's a certain amount of pride that comes with people noticing that you're trying to put it together. And it's still like my husband's like claim to fame is that Dave Chappelle once told him that he liked his shoes.
Ah.
And he's never gotten rid of them since then. But yeah, I mean, we are sneakerheads and we do a lot of family matching ones, so we kind of like the greatest thing about having a 5-year-old is like that. I guess it's good and bad. Their size changes all the time, so I'll
Mm,
just like sell his old pair or, give it away and then buy like a new used pair
mm.
in the next size so that we always have matching sets.
That's cool. Well, do you have
Hmm.
shoes like
Hmm.
do you wear them around or is it like no, these are my performing shoes?
Uh, yeah, no, I wear them all around. I don't
Okay.
have them like even my Travis Scotts. I'm not gonna not wear these. Like I'm not just gonna sell. I don't. If I buy them, I wear them.
Gotcha.
But I'm not wearing them like to the grocery store. Like
Okay.
I'll just throw on a pair of slides for the grocery store or something. But for show shoes are definitely like the cleaner ones. I
Gotcha.
don't wear junky sneakers on stage. That's trash.
Yeah. No, I asked Brad because it was just something I've noticed whenever I'm at shows now. The comedians have the nicest, like, look right out of the box kind of shoes. And I probably noticed because I got some shoes, like some Jordans and whatnot. Then you got to get the cleaning kits, and it's such a addictive pain in the ass. You're sitting on the kitchen floor scrubbing these things, and it's what I guess is what you got to do.
I guess it's what you got to do. Yeah, as long as they look pretty new and I'm also like try to be good about if I buy a new pair I have to get rid of one. Like I only have so much
Mm,
room in my closet. So it's like, all right, these have gone around enough, time to go. Or I'll just like save them for when my son is old enough cuz he'll probably be wearing my size shoes in the next 3, 4 years. That's a great thing about Jordans too, is that they don't really go out of style.
Yeah.
And the old ones, the new ones, retro ones, they hold up. They hold their value, quote unquote. And we've
Hmm.
tried to be really good about saving a lot of his sneakers for like when he's older for his collection, or so to speak, you
Yeah.
know.
Could go towards the college fund too, you know?
Yes. He loves shoes, so we've created a monster in every aspect of the world.
One thing I thought was cool, I'm a fan of Chris Spencer as well, and it looked like, did you do some writing for the BET Awards recently? I know he was there, Kevin Hart.
Yes. So I was the DEI hire for the BET Awards, which was fantastic. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life in a writer's room. Like the room was so loving, like zero ego. Obviously Chris was in there, but the head writer was Rashida Sheeds and Olawale. I can never say her name the right way, but she's the best. And she's just a genius. And so she just had us all in line constantly. And she had Kevin on like a very regimented, like schedule.
Mm.
She was very organized. She had it down to a T, everything that she wanted him to do or say, and where to play and where to not play. And she was just a really great leader. And yeah, with Chris, he did the Real Husbands sketch, and then he helped a lot with the monologue, and obviously just punch up all around because and I was mostly brought in because I've worked with Kevin for a long time, and so I'm pretty familiar with his voice. And then I got to meet so many more great new writers. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, it looked like a great time, and made me wonder. You're doing the Tom Brady roast, you're doing the BET Awards, so many other things too. But what's the weirdest gig you've ever done? I think Whitney Cummings. I remember her saying that she did a show like in a bowling alley or something. Does anything come to mind, like the early days?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we did those bowling alley shows. There was a laundromat. Um Once I dressed up as a giant orange cone for the Department of Transportation
Wow.
in Atlanta, and I walked into a meeting at not City Hall, at the Capitol, to show off the new orange cone character that they were going to be rolling out. So that was a weird job.
Yeah.
Performing wise, I mean, usually the military shows are always really bizarre because you just never know what. Like I remember we were at a camp in Iraq, and we performed in a boxing ring because that was all they had. So everybody pulled their Humvees and like vehicles and their MRAPs just like all around this boxing ring, and they sat on top of it like a NASCAR race, and they had these lights shining on it, and we performed right there.
Wow.
And so that was good. Yeah, back of a truck. We did several shows where they would just build a stage and then tear it down right after we got off of it.
It's like a concert, the roadies start doing their thing after.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You really you get some interesting places. But yeah, I mean, cafeterias at noon, those were always pretty hellish. That's either military gig or college gig
Hmm.
when you're just coming up. Hmm.
Well, whenever I have a comedian on, I always like to ask, what do you remember about your first open mic? Like, how did it go, and where was it?
It was at this place called the Brew. It was on Laurel Canyon and Riverside Drive. It was a little coffee shop. Nick Youssef used to run it.
Hmm.
And I forget the name of it. I had, I think I had 5 minutes, and I think I was done in three because I was talking so fast. And yeah, I had gone up there. I had started on a dare, and I had just was watching the news one night in my little studio apartment, and wrote a joke. It was about this guy that shot himself with a nail gun because that was on the news, and it like went up into his eye socket, and he didn't feel anything. He worked the whole day, and everyone was like, "I can't believe you didn't feel it." And I was like, "Well, I wouldn't be able to feel 3.5 inches if I got nailed. So what's the big deal?" So that was like my first joke, and it worked, and it kind of carried me along until I
Yeah.
found a second and then a third. But Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember it was probably 6 months after that that I actually really start. It's called the Hot Wired Cafe. That's what it was called. Nick Youssef. So like 6 months after that, I really started, and it was Nick Youssef's 21st birthday. So I would always like think in my head like, oh, this is how long I've been doing stand up based on how old Nick Youssef is.
That's good. Well, I imagine you got
Yeah.
some laughs then, right? Because is that kind of what made you feel like, okay, I want to keep doing it, or how'd you feel after?
Yeah, I got some laughs. You don't really get a ton of laughs at an open mic because it's all comics and they're not even listening.
Yeah.
They're just sitting around waiting to go up. But I think I was addicted to the feeling and the rush of it. And I think just growing up in theater, I was really addicted to the idea that I got to do it alone. You know, I had been doing team sports, so to speak, my whole life.
Hmm.
And this was an individual sport. And if I did well, I got all the credit. And if I did bad, there was no one else to blame. And I
Hmm.
really liked those stakes. And here we are,
Yeah, yeah.
23 years later, and I'm still.
Made me wonder then, I forgot to ask you earlier, since you're a big sports fan, it sounds like you are an athlete then. What was your sport?
I played softball and basketball, and I played a little soccer in high school, but I was not devoted or, I was just okay. I was just average. I wasn't anything special. More of a fan
Okay.
than a player myself. So it's very nice to see my son be so good and talented because his dad was pretty good. It's not he didn't play I mean, he played on a club team, baseball team in college, but you know, his dad's a pretty good athlete, and and it's always on, so it's like we were like, you don't have to like sports, you don't have to play it, but it will be on.
Hmm.
So if you don't want to watch it, you're gonna have to figure out something else that you want to do.
Yeah. Makes sense. I'm a big bowler, so a big athlete over here.
Oh, bowling
So
is. I grew up near a bowling alley. The bowling alley is right next to our high school. I loved bowling.
it
Last time I bowled a 301.
oh yeah? How's that happen?
You can't bowl a 300 and lose.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Oh, I like that. Okay,
it's a
that's good.
bowling joke.
Yeah, I'll steal that one.
Use that.
Yeah. Well, one thing I thought was cool about you too is you came to LA and you were a waitress, right? So was that one of your first jobs then? Because my first job was ripping tickets at the movie theater.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Like Jeselnik, right? Jeselnik worked at the ArcLight.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh, yeah.
That's the
When I
famous one,
first met
right?
him, I think he was doing that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually started when I first moved to LA. I was DJing weddings and bar mitzvahs because I came from radio in college, and then that's when I was doing that. I mean, plus I was doing extra work on TV shows and stuff, and doing weddings and bar mitzvahs. This guy that I DJ'd with, this guy named Poetry, he was like a slam poet, and he did Russell Simmons' Def Poetry Jam, and he was like, "You have to do
Hmm.
stand up. You have to do stand up." And I never even knew you could. Like, I thought you had to have a TV show and
Hmm.
then you did stand up. I didn't realize it was the opposite way. So he's the one that got me into stand up. And then when I was doing extra work, there was a guy on set who worked at the Four Seasons, and then he got me a job at the Four Seasons waiting tables, and that was the best job ever.
Yeah, did you get some material that way maybe or?
I didn't really get a ton of material from waiting tables because I wasn't miserable there. Like I really enjoyed it. I mean, I got a lot of stories of just interactions, like
Hmm.
Suge Knight was one of my regular customers,
Oh wow.
and or one time this guy had a briefcase like handcuffed to his wrist, and every time you walk past him he'd give you $50. So you walk past him a lot,
Yeah.
and he was just drinking double Grey Goose and grapefruit early in the morning. And then he said his wife had left him, or she cheated on him, and she was going to try to take all his money. So he took it all out of the bank, and he was going to Paris the next morning, and he asked me to go with him. And I was
Wow.
like, man, what would my life have been like?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did the trip go or not?
Yeah, it's like that sliding doors moment of like, man, what would have happened?
Yeah. I know I'm picturing you in the
But
Pulp Fiction type diner. That's what I'm envisioning.
no, I worked at a swanky Four Seasons pool. waiting
Oh,
tables,
nice.
and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, my first job was at the movie theater, and I started off in the popcorn area. And MC Hammer came in one day. That's our claim to fame from Tracy, and he kind of blew me off. So then I upgraded to the ticket ripper, and then the next time he came in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get some revenge. So he came in with his buddies, and I told him the wrong theater on purpose. So then they go down there and they're all lost, and I thought to myself, it's not Hammer time now. That's our claim to fame, Tracy. It's about half hour from Hayward, so in the East
Oh, I
Bay.
know where Tracy is.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, the exotic city of Tracy.
Yeah. Well, Patterson and Tracy is the same exit.
Wow. Yeah, you
Yeah.
really do know your area over here then.
Yeah, I drive up there all the time to still see my family. So,
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a
yep.
big music fan, so I'm kind of getting towards the end here. But I'm a big music fan, so I'm always curious with whoever I have on, regardless of what they do. What kind of music are you into, and who was your very first concert?
Whoa. So I don't really listen to a ton of music. Shocking. That's why the BET Awards was probably the only concert I've been to in years.
Mm,
Um, but I mean, I mostly listen to country music from the 80s and 90s. That was always my favorite. Right now, I kind of listen to a little bit more because my son
mm,
likes, like whatever they always have all these walk-up songs in baseball.
yeah.
So, there's a lot. He always uses wrestlers ones. So, so yeah, I kind of grew up on like Randy Travis and Dolly
Mm,
Parton, and that was mostly the music that I listened to. I think Randy Travis was it my first concert? It was either them or Starship. No, Chicago. I saw Chicago at the Riverbend Festival in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask you
Yeah.
next then. What song would you have be your walk-up song if you're a baseball player, or is that too difficult?
Probably no. I mean, I think it'd probably be similar to like I always when I walk out on stage, I would say that's like similar to a walk-up song.
Hmm.
So I always either do Country Girl Shake It For Me or Any Way You Want It by Journey
Oh, that's
because
good.
it's like she loves to laugh, she loves to sing, she does everything.
Hmm. Mine would be "Are You Gonna Go My Way" by Lenny Kravitz. I don't know if you know that one.
Okay.
It's good, kind
Why
of
is
upbeat.
that?
Okay, he's my favorite guy, and it gets you pumped up too. It's like all right, like it's like a good opening song for a concert too. So I figured it'd be a good walk up to the plate song.
Yeah. I will say I did go to a Bruce Springsteen
Mm.
concert and that felt like I went to six concerts at once because he played for so long.
Yeah, it's probably like a 4.5 hour marathon.
I kept thinking it was gonna be. I'm like, how many more songs does he have? And he'd be like, well, I kept thinking it was over, and he's like, one, two, three, four. I'm like, what? I thought he
The
was just
boss.
counting all the black people in the crowd, but no, he was like just had always had another song.
Yeah, I love the boss. He's one of my favorites. Seen him a bunch, and then now I notice when I'm at the shows, it's kind of sad that time's passing. When you're at the shows before it starts, you're counting the walkers and the wheelchairs, and it's not good.
Mm-hmm. You see the movie that's coming out with him too, right? With Jerry
Yeah,
Allen White.
I hope it's good. I don't know. I'm not negative on it. I don't know how he doesn't really remind me of Bruce really, so it's going to be a growing thing for me, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not really that attached to it. It was kind of similar to the Bob Dylan movie where I was just like, I don't really know. I
Yeah,
remember Bob Dylan came to Music Midtown when I was in college and I did not stay because I was there to see Edwin McCain. And then when he got off stage, I was like, I'm out.
yeah.
I don't want to see.
And
And then
Bob, he seems like a
he
weirdo.
yeah, and I think I went well, actually I did go to a concert a couple years ago because to see John Mellencamp because I wanted
Mm.
to see Willie Nelson because I'd never seen Willie in concert. I wanted to see him before he died, and then so it was Mellencamp, Bob Dylan, and Willie Nelson. And then I went and walked around and talked to all my friends during the Bob Dylan segment.
You probably didn't miss much.
I did, I did.
Well,
But I did love the movie. I did love A Complete
mm.
Unknown. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. No, I thought the movie was good. So fingers crossed on the Bruce. And one of my final questions for you, it's sports related. If you could start a podcast or show with any of your two favorite sports figures as like your co-hosts, or maybe just other celebrities, regardless of what they do, but they're known for something, and there's no limits or bounds. Like you could pick them, it's going to happen. Who would your two co-hosts be?
Well, it would be Chipper Jones.
Mm,
I think me and Chip would have a good old time. And then, oh man, who else? So like my instinct is to go baseball, but then I don't. Hmm. I'm like, who would be a good personality?
yeah.
To like to really be in there. Maybe Otani's interpreter. So it's like me, Chipper, and Otani's interpreter. No. No. Man, it seems like, yeah, it would probably just be baseball related. But maybe Dusty Baker. Dusty had so many
Mm,
great stories.
yeah.
And, he played for the Braves with Hank Aaron. And he always had one of my favorite stories of all time, which was that, when Hank Aaron when he hit 715, Dusty Baker was on deck. And, he sees all these people like coming out and like they're like, oh God, there's white guys chasing him on the field. Like it is Atlanta. Like we're all
Yeah.
like a little nervous, and then everything's fine. And then he comes back out and he does a curtain call, and the whole crowd goes crazy. And he goes, and then the whole stadium left. And I hit a double and no one even noticed.
That's
So,
pretty good.
yeah, Dusty always had a bunch of great stories. He's like, one of your, classic Giants
Hmm.
manager. And I actually met him in Northern California. I was performing at a Thai restaurant, not bragging. And he came in there and he had been like pheasant hunting or something with like
Wow.
these two old white guys. And I was like, I don't know if that was a good idea. And anyway, he survived and he came to the Thai restaurant and he told me all kinds of stories about the Braves. So I'd probably say him as a manager, from his perspective, Chipper as a hitting and batting perspective, and then me as just like the court jester, the
Yeah.
three of us.
That'd be cool.
Baker, Tiana, and Jones.
I think mine would be Lenny Kravitz and then Steph Curry. That'd be an interesting trio.
Oh, that that would be an interesting trio. I
Yeah.
would love to see what Steph Curry and Lenny Kravitz have to talk about.
Yeah. It might just be silence, no speaking.
Well, Steph is really funny. He is a he. I wrote on the ESPYS the year that he hosted, and
Uh,
he was fantastic. He's an incredible guy. Really
yeah.
funny, charming, clever. Down to have fun. Like doesn't mind. You can always tell when guys are really secure
Mm.
and like they'll just like let someone else be funnier, or they don't mind looking dumb or silly or ridiculous. And like those are guys that know how great they are. Guys that won't do that because they're insecure about lots of things.
Yeah.
That's the greatest compliment I can pay Steph Curry, is that not only is he a fantastic basketball player, one of the greatest of all time, but just personality wise, confidence wise, security wise to like,
Mm.
and that's the kind of men that you want to raise women, like he's raising like strong daughters and sons, and that makes me excited for the world ahead.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it. I'm hoping I get to interview him next month at the American Century tournament in Tahoe. And I was bringing that up
Mhm.
because Rich Eisen's going to be there. So maybe I'll make that one happen too.
I'll
Uh,
tell him to say hi to you for sure. And because Chris has been he's been dying to go up there and play in that tournament, but he's not. I don't think we're gonna go up there. I don't think we're
Okay.
gonna be there, but Rich will be there, so that's good. I know Rich has been practicing.
Yeah, I was like, everyone, it's fun, but to be the celebrity, that'd be a little nerve-wracking, all the people up there and stuff. So
Oh
I
my
wouldn't be able to
gosh,
do it.
to have that many people watching you golf, oh,
Yeah.
because they're not gonna air all the good swings. They're gonna only air all the terrible swings that you have. So
Yeah,
no
exactly.
thanks. Hmm.
Well, I gotta say, it's great to have you on the show. Thanks for giving me some time. And I saw you have a really cool show on Wednesday night. I think Jim Jeffries is on the lineup. So, how's the week looking? And is there any upcoming projects or tour dates I can promote?
Sure. Yeah. This Wednesday I'll be at the Improv in Los Angeles, and then I'm gonna be at the Atlanta Punchline. What is it? July 11th and 12th, I believe, is the date. Yeah, 11th and 12th, Friday and Saturday before the All-Star game in Atlanta. So please come out and say hello to me. All my other dates are on my socials. Sarah Tiana, Sarah with an H, Tiana with a Tiana.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, thanks for coming on the show. And next time I'm in LA, I'll try to hopefully get to see you perform and make it happen. So improv and the Comedy Store are my favorite spots.
Great. I'll get you there. Thanks for having me.